Good morning, students. Today we revise the topic thermodynamics, and important formulas in these thermodynamics topics that you have to remember are: first one, the specific heats of gas. As we know, when temperature of a gas is increased, variations occur both in its pressure and volume. So to increase the temperature by 1 degree, either we have to keep pressure or volume as constant. So gases has two specific heats, whereas solids and liquids has only one specific heat. So specific heat of solids at constant volume, specific heat of a gas at constant volume, specific heat of a gas at constant pressure, and these are defined as the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of 1 gram of gas by 1 degree rise in temperature. Okay, so they are called Cp and Cv. So they are represented as small Cv and small Cp. Okay, specific heat at constant volume, specific heat at constant pressure. So these are for 1 gram of a gas for 1 degree rise in temperature. Now gases has another specific heats called molar specific heats. So they are represented by capital Cv and capital Cp. Okay, molar specific heat at constant volume, molar specific heat at constant pressure. Here in this case, we have defined for 1 unit mass of the gas, that means 1 gram of mass. But in this case, we define the amount of these specific heats as amount of heat required to rise the temperature of 1 mole of gas by 1 degree centigrade at constant volume and at constant pressure. Okay, so this is for 1 gram of gas for 1 degree rise in temperature. This is for 1 mole of gas for 1 degree rise in temperature. So these are the two specific heats of gases. So totally we have 4 specific heats of gas. Okay, these two capital Cv and capital Cp are molar specific heats. Okay, the relation between these two, usually Cp is always greater than Cv, because the amount of heat required to rise the temperature of a gas at constant pressure to keep the volume, work is done by the gas. That's why more amount of heat is required. That's why Cp is always greater than Cv, and the relation Cp minus Cv is equal to capital R. For this, for 1 mole of a gas, Cp minus Cv is equal to capital R. Whereas these specific heats, Cp minus Cv is equal to small r. Okay, capital Cv is equal to capital R, small Cv is equal to small r. Where this is specific gas constant, this is universal gas constant. Okay, and this value is equal to Pv by Mt, or otherwise we can write density into T. Okay. Next, and gamma is the ratio of specific heats. Cp by Cv is called gamma. So gamma is the ratio of specific heats, and for monatomic gas, Cp is 5 by 2R and Cv is 3 by 2R, and gamma is 1.66. For diatomic gas, Cp is 7 by 2R and Cv is 5 by 2R, R, and gamma is 7 by 5, that is 1.4 approximately. Okay, for triatomic, Cp is 9 by 2R and Cv is 7 by 2R. And this is 9 by 7, that is approximately 1.1412 exact. Okay, you have to remember these 4 values actually, Cp minus Cv. For usually most of the problems we come across with monatomic and diatomic gases, so you remember these quantities. Okay. Now Joule's law. Joule's law states the relation between the mechanical work and heat. That means the amount of work done is proportional to the amount of heat generated. So W is equal to JQ, and this is called Joule's law, and this J is called Joule's constant or mechanical equivalent of heat, and this equal to 4.2 Joule per Kelvin. That means for the production of 1 calorie of heat, this much amount of work is to be done. Okay, that is J. So you remember this one. For any problems that mechanical work is converted into heat energy. Suppose if a body is dropped from certain height, so that its potential energy is converted into heat energy. In that case, you have to take it as mgh equal to this one JQ. Or in some cases, if due to that thermal energy, if temperature is increased by the body, then we can write it as ms delta T. Suppose if an ice ball is falling to a certain height and melts, in that case we can write ml. So depending upon situation, this particular mechanical energy is equal to either rise in temperature or change of state. So this may be mechanical energy is converted into heat energy, then that particular heat energy may rise the temperature of the body, then that particular mechanical energy equal to ms delta T. If it changes the state of the body, then that particular mechanical energy equal to ml. So if maybe half mv square equal to this one. Suppose if friction is there, then sliding friction, due to friction, sliding body due to friction, a temperature rise in means you have to use this relation. The energy of that particular body sliding through that inclined plane, you have to equate to these ones. Okay, you remember this one. Now first law of thermodynamics and second law of thermodynamics, as you know, I am not going to repeat those. But the mathematical form of first law of thermodynamics is dq is equal to du plus dw. So this one. So depending upon the, if heat is taken by it, you have to take it as positive. If heat is rejected by the system, then dq is negative. Similarly, work done by the gas, we have to take it as positive. Work is done on the gas, on the system, then w is negative. So if increase in internal energy, du is positive, decrease in internal energy, then du is negative. So this is the sign convention. And next we have to remember two thermodynamic processes. First one is isothermal process and adiabatic process. So in isothermal process, the change of the physical state of the system changes such that its temperature remains constant. Such process is called isothermal process, and isothermal process obeys this particular law, that is PV is equal to constant. Similarly, adiabatic process, if the physical state of the system changes such that there is no exchange of heat between the system and the surroundings, then that is called adiabatic process. So adiabatic process obeys PV power gamma is equal to constant, where gamma is the ratio of specific heat, Cp by Cv. Okay, so you remember these ones. And next one, heat engine. Heat engine is the conversion of mechanical energy into thermal energy, or thermal energy to mechanical energy. Okay, so the efficiency of a heat engine is given by T1 minus T2 by T1 into 100, and this T1 is the source temperature of the source. Source means body at high temperature, and T2 is the temperature of the sink, means body at low temperature. And the reverse process of heat engine is refrigerator. The working coefficient of the refrigerator is given by T2 by T1 minus T2, and that equal to Q by or we can say Q by W, whatever it will be. That means amount of heat rejected to the amount of work done. So you remember this formula. Now we solve some problems. 1 minute. Now we will solve starting solve level 2 exercise 3. First we solve on based on first one, page number 193. Problem number 1. A copper block of mass 1 kg slides down on a rough inclined plane of inclination 37 degree at constant speed. For the increase, find the increase in the temperature of the block as it slides down through 60 centimeter. Assuming the loss in mechanical energy goes into the copper block as thermal energy. The specific heat of copper is given. Okay. So 1 kg of mass slides down through a rough inclined plane of inclination 37 degree. Okay. So for rough inclined plane, when the body slides through it, its energy is, as it sliding down means, it has kinetic energy. That particular kinetic energy, as it moves, slides down, that particular kinetic energy is converted into thermal energy. Then due to that particular thermal energy, there is a rise in the temperature of this copper body. Find the rise in the temperature. Okay. Now, as the body is sliding down, it possesses kinetic energy. That is, its kinetic energy is converted into thermal energy. Due to this thermal energy, its temperature increases. That is ms delta T. So that is the condition. So for kinetic energy is half mv square, that is equal to ms delta T. So m will get cancelled. That is half v square is equal to s delta T. Okay. Now, as in the friction, when the body is sliding down through an inclined plane, its velocity is given by v is equal to square root of 2g L sin theta. So v square means you will have 2g L sin theta. Okay, now substituting this in this equation, given in this problem, given L is 60 centimeter, that is 0.6 meter, and theta is given as 37 degree, and specific heat of copper, this S, is given as 420 joule per Kelvin, joule per kg per Kelvin, and G as 10. Now substituting all this in this equation, that is half v square means 2g L sin theta is equal to s delta T. That is half means this will get cancelled. So 10 into 0.6 sin theta, sin 37 is 3 by 5. So 3 by 5 is equal to 420 into delta T. So this is 6, cancelling it to 70. So 3 by 5 into 70 is equal to delta T. That is 3 by 350. So that is approximately 1 minute. 8.57 into 10 power minus 3 degrees centigrade. That is approximately 8.6 into 10 power minus 3. Now the second one, A steel ball of mass 0.1 kg falls freely from a height 10 meter and bounces to a height 5.4 from the ground. If the dissipated energy in this process is absorbed by the ball and the rise in temperature of the ball is, okay. So, a ball is dropped from certain height. So, if there is no loss of energy, suppose from a height h1, if there is no loss of energy, then again it rebound to the same height h1, okay. But here in this problem, it is not rebounces to a height of 5.4. That means it reaches to a height h2 not equal to h1. That means the loss in this energy is actually it possesses potential energy, and this at this particular position it potential energy. So, the loss in potential energy is mg h1 minus h2. This is the loss of potential energy. So, this particular potential energy, that means this loss of potential energy is absorbed by the ball as thermal energy. So, if this equal to Q, that is thermal energy, by absorbing this thermal energy its temperature increases. So, then what is the rise in temperature? So, we can write H1 minus H2 is equal to Ms delta T. So, this M will get cancelled. So, from this we can calculate delta S equal to G H1 minus H2 by S. So, in this problem it is given it bounces from a height 10 meter and rebounds to height 5.4 meter. So, G is taken as 10. So, 10 into 10 minus 5.4 by S is given as 460 joule per kg per Kelvin. So, 460. So, now what happens is this is 10 into 4.6 by 46. Cancel it 10 times. That is 1 by 10 means 0.1 degrees centigrade. Next, third one. A lead bullet of specific heat, 0. Lead bullet S equal to 0.032 calorie per gram is completely stopped when it strikes a target with a velocity 300 meter per second. Okay, the heat generated is equally shared by the bullet and target. The rise in the temperature of the bullet is. Okay, the question is, a lead bullet is completely stopped when it strikes a target with a velocity 300 meter per second. The heat generated is equally shared by okay. So, the heat generated is equally shared by the bullet and target. So, assume that this is a target like this. When the bullet hits this target, okay, it is completely stopped. That means as the bullet is moving, it has kinetic energy. It is completely stopped means its total kinetic energy is converted into other form. So that it is given that the heat generated is equally shared by the bullet and target. That means whatever the kinetic energy lost by this bullet is converted into thermal energy, which is shared by this bullet and this target. That means half of the kinetic energy of this bullet is converted into rise the temperature of this bullet. Okay. So, half of the kinetic energy of the bullet is absorbed by the total kinetic energy of the bullet is converted into thermal energy, half of which is taken by this bullet and remaining half is taken by the target. So, here we have to find the rise in temperature of the bullet only. So, as we know, kinetic energy of this bullet is converted into rise in temperature. Is converted into thermal energy Q, that equal to which rises the temperature ms delta T. But here total energy is not converted, only half of this part. So, half kinetic energy of the bullet is converted into ms delta T. So, here mv square half into half. Okay, half of kinetic energy is equal to ms delta T. So, 1 by 4 v square is equal to s delta T. So, delta T is equal to v square by 4s. Okay. Now, s and v are given here, but here s is, this v is in meter per second, whereas s is in calorie. So, you have to multiply this particular one with 0.032 into 4200. Okay. Now, multiplying this is 300 whole square means 9 into 10 to the power 4 by, and this one 4 into 0.032 into 4200. So, that is 9 into 10 to the power 4 by 1 2. Okay. 4 into 3.2 into 4.2. Okay, 9 into 10 to the power 4 by approximately this is 12.8 into 4.2. So, approximately this is 12 into 4 is 48, means approximately it is 50. So, 9 by 50 into 10 to the power 4. So, calculating we will get the answer 167.4 degrees centigrade. Next, fourth one. A block of ice falls from certain height and completely melts. If only 3/4 of the energy is absorbed by the block, height of fall should be given L is equal to and S equal. Okay. A block of ice falls from certain height and completely melts. If only 3/4 of the energy is absorbed by the block. So, the solution, fourth one. Okay, the block of ice falls from certain height h. Okay, so that means as it is at the highest position, that means at the point of dropping, it has a kinetic potential energy mgh. So, on reaching the ground, this particular ice blocks completely melts. Okay, that means its potential energy is converted into thermal energy. So, we can write mgh equal to q, that equal to ml, because here it is given that the total amount of ice is melt. So ml, okay, ml of ice. Okay, so 1 minute, it is given. Okay, only 3/4 of the energy is absorbed. That means this is the total energy. Out of this total potential energy, 3/4 of potential energy is absorbed by this ice. So that is how 3/4 mgh equal to ml. So this one. Now substituting these values. So here in this problem, it is given L as 363 units, SI units. So 3/4 G, take it as 10. H is equal to 363. Now we can cancel out this 121. So H is equal to 121 into 4 by 10. That is 12.1 into 4. That is 48.4 meter. Okay, next fifth one. A lead bullet of mass 21 gram traveling at a speed 100 meter per second comes to rest in a wooden block. No heat is taken away by the wood. The rise in temperature of the bullet nearly. So this is similar to this third one also, because when the bullet strikes this wooden block, its kinetic energy is converted into thermal energy. So in that case we can write half mv square is equal to q, that is ms delta t. So m will get cancelled. Okay. Here in this problem, this total kinetic energy is absorbed by the bullet only, because it is given that no heat is taken by the wood. That means total amount of energy is taken by the bullet only. So we can write directly half mv square equal to ms delta t. So half v square is equal to s delta t. So in this problem, given v as 100 meter per second and s as 80 calorie per kg, 80 calorie per kg per degree centigrade. Actually CGS units, it is calorie per gram. So we have to convert first into CGS units, that is 80 into calorie by 10 to the power 3 grams. So 10 to the power minus 3 calorie per gram. Now we can convert into SI unit by multiplying with J. So now directly we can write half V square means 10 to the power 10 square here, 10 to the power 4 is equal to S, that is 80 10 to the power minus 3 into 4200 into delta T. Okay, by multiplying with 4200 we convert into joule per kg per Kelvin. Okay, this equal to, so this will cancel. So this is 10 to the power 4 is equal to 16 into 42 into delta T. So delta T is equal to 10 to the power 4 divided by 16 into 42. Okay, this is approximately, 1 minute, calculating it, we get it is 14.8 degrees centigrade, but in these options we have 15, so approximately 15 degrees centigrade. Now sixth one. When 20 joule of work was done on a gas, 40 joule of heat When 20 joule of work was done on gas, 40 joule of heat energy was released. If the initial internal energy of the gas was 70 joule, what is the final energy? Final internal energy. So this is based on first law of thermodynamics, that is dq is equal to du plus dw. Okay. Now here it is given that work is done on the gas. Work is done on the gas means dw is negative. So that is given as 20. So we have to take minus 20 joule. Next, and 40 joule of heat energy was released. That means dq released means it is also negative, minus 40 joule. So given du, in this du we can write, okay. Now substituting in this, minus 40 is equal to du plus minus 20. So du is equal to minus 40 plus 20, that is minus 20. So change in internal energy is minus 20. Change in internal energy means u2 minus u1 or final minus initial, that is minus 20. Given initial was 70 joule. So 70 minus 20, that is 50. Now seventh one. A quantity of heat Q is supplied to a monatomic gas, ideal gas, which expands at constant pressure. The fraction of heat that goes into work done by the gas is, okay, the quantity of heat supplied to a monatomic gas which expands at constant pressure. The fraction of heat that goes into work done by the gas is, okay. So Q is the amount of heat given to expand the monatomic gas at constant pressure. So Cp. So given Q is equal to Cp. For a monatomic gas, Cp minus Cv is equal to R, that we know. Okay. Now actually Cp is equal to Cv plus R. That means this equal to dq plus dw. Now work done is equal to R. Actually comparing with this, dq is equal to du plus dw. So work done is equal to R. Now we have to calculate work done. Here we have to calculate what? Fraction of heat that goes into work. That means W by Q. So W by Q means R by Q, that is Cp. But Cp, R is equal to, here from this equation, Cp minus Cv by R. That is, by Cp. That is 1 minus Cv by Cp. But Cp by Cv is gamma, so here we can write 1 by gamma. So that is 1 minus 1 by, or we can write like this also. Cv is 3 by 2, and this is 5 by 2 for a monoatomic gas, given it is monoatomic. So 1 minus 3 by 5, that is 2 by 5. Okay. Okay, ninth one. H calories of heat is required to increase the temperature of 1 mole of monoatomic gas from 20 to 30 degrees centigrade at constant volume. The quantity of heat required to increase the temperature of 2 moles of diatomic gas from 20 to 25 centigrade at constant volume. Okay. H calorie of heat is required to increase the temperature of 1 mole of monoatomic gas from 20 to 30 at constant volume. Actually Cv is equal to 1 by N into dq by dt. This we know, because amount of heat required for 1 degree rise for 1 mole. So here given dq as H. So dq is equal to, we can write NCV dt. So this is given as H is equal to, okay, for a monoatomic gas, for 1 mole of monoatomic gas, 1 Cv into dt, 10 degrees centigrade, 30 minus 20. But for a monoatomic gas, its Cv is 3 by 2 R into 10. That is 15 R. Okay, now second case, dq dash. That is, we have to calculate the quantity of heat required to increase the temperature of 2 moles of diatomic gas from, okay, now for 2 moles of gas, Cv for a rise of 5 degree temperature. So for a diatomic gas, Cv is 5 by 2 R. That is 25 R. And this is H. So now dividing these two, dq dash by H is equal to 25 R by 15 R. Okay, that is 5, 3, R will get cancelled. So dq dash is equal to 5H by 3. Now 10th one, half mole of helium gas contained in a container at STP, the heat energy needed to double the pressure of the gas, keeping the volume constant. The specific heat of gas is 3 joule per Kelvin. Okay. Half mole of helium, that is N equal to half. Helium means H2, that means diatomic at STP. Okay, STP means temperature is 273 Kelvin and pressure is 1 atmosphere, 10 to the power 5 Newton per meter square. Okay. Now its volume, it is energy needed to double the pressure, keeping the volume constant. Volume constant means P by T is equal to P2 T2. So double the pressure. So P by 273 is equal to 2P by T2. That implies T2 is equal to 2 into 273, 546. Okay. Now the question is, energy needed given CV, small cv as 3. So to write it as 3, Cv is equal to 3 into molecular weight 4, because its molecular weight is 4. So this is 12 joule per gram. Now we are writing dq is equal to n Cv dt. Now change in temperature is, initially T1 is 273, T2 is 546. So T2 minus T1, that is dt is equal to 273 again. So substituting half, 12, 273. Writing is 8, 42, 43, 16 joule. Now the 11th one. How much heat energy in joule must be supplied to 14 gram of nitrogen at room temperature to rise the temperature by 40 degrees centigrade at constant pressure? A simple one. So 14 gram of nitrogen, and that means N2, that means it is diatomic. Diatomic Cv is equal to 5 by 2R. You have to remember this. Next, change in temperature dt is 40. At constant pressure, Cp you have to calculate. So we have to calculate N. Number of moles is equal to this by molecular weight. Okay. So given mass by molecular weight, that is number of moles half. So Cp is equal to, sorry, what we have to require is Cp only. Okay, dq, not dq, is equal to n Cp dt. So sorry, Cp, and it is 7 by 2R. So substituting, a number of moles is half, Cp is 7 by 2R, dt 40 degree. So this 10, that is 70 R. Now, thirteenth one, 3 moles of monoatomic gas require 60 calorie heat for 5 degree rise in temperature at constant volume. Then heat required for the 5 moles of same gas under constant pressure for 10 degree rise of temperature given R is equal to. Okay. 13th one, 3 moles of monoatomic gas. 3 moles of monoatomic gas. Monoatomic gas means at constant volume. Okay. 60 calorie of heat is required to raise the temperature of 3 moles of gas by 5 degrees centigrade at constant volume. That means dq is equal to n Cv dt. So in this one 60 is equal to n is 3, Cv dt is this one 5. So this is 15, 4, 60. That is Cv is equal to 4 joule, 4 units. Now you have to calculate Cp for 5 moles of same gas, temperature rise of 10 degree. Okay, for the same gas means Cv is 4, but Cp is equal to Cp minus Cv is equal to 2. So Cp is equal to 2 plus Cv. Given, actually this is R, that is given as 2. So 2 plus Cv, that is already we have calculated Cv as 4. So this is 6. Now dq is equal to n Cp dt. So n is 5 mole, Cp is 6 units, dt is 10. That is 30 into 10, 300 calorie. Okay. 14th one. Okay, 1 mole of monoatomic gas is mixed with 1 mole of diatomic gas. What will be the value of the mixture, gamma of the mixture? Okay, when 2 gases are mixed, then the ratio of specific heats of that particular mixture is given by N1 plus N2 by gamma minus 1 is equal to N1 by gamma 1 minus 1 plus N2 by gamma 2 minus 1. You remember this formula? Already I forgot. That means this is the ratio of specific heats of the mixer is equal to number of moles by first gas by its ratio of specific heats plus number of moles of second gas by its ratio of specific heats minus 1. So here in this problem, 1 mole of monoatomic gas is mixed with 1 mole of diatomic gas. So 1 mole of monoatomic gas, that means 1 by, for monoatomic gas this is 5 by 3 minus 1 plus 1 mole of diatomic gas. For diatomic gas it is 7 by 5 minus 1. So this is N1 plus N2 means 1 plus 1, 2 divided by gamma minus 1. So from this we can write 2 by 3, 1 by 2 by 3 plus 1 by 2 by 5. That is 3 plus 2 plus 5 by 2, that is 8 by 2, 4. So 2 by gamma minus 1 equal to 4 means 2, implies gamma minus 1 is 1 by 2, gamma is equal to 3 volt. Okay. Next, 16th one. 1 mole of ideal gas. 1 mole of ideal gas is Gamma is given as 7/5 adiabatically compressed so that its temperature rises from 27 to 35 degrees centigrade. The work done by the gases. So in work done in adiabatic process and work done in isothermal process, you remember the formula. Work done in isothermal process is 2.3026 RT log base 10 V2 by V1. This is the work done in isothermal process, and in work done in adiabatic process is R by gamma minus 1 T2 minus T1, sorry, T1 minus T2. This is adiabatic process. So also remember these two processes, work done in these two processes. So in this problem 16th one, it is work done in adiabatic process. 1 mole of adiabatic process of gamma is 7/5. Temperature changes from 27 degrees centigrade to 35 degrees centigrade. Okay. So actually we have to take absolute temperature, that means 273 plus 27. Here it is also 273 plus 35. That means difference is same, 8 degree. Here also it is 8 K. Okay. Now work done is given by R divided by gamma minus 1 into T1 minus T2. Okay, R value is 8.47 by gamma is 7/5 minus 1 into this one, that is the difference is 8, that is 2, 5 into 8.47 into 8/2, 4, that is 20 into 8.47, that is 2 into 84.7, that is 169.4 joule. Okay, now 17th one. A tire of motor car contains air at 15 degrees centigrade. If the temperature increases to 35 degrees centigrade, the approximate percentage increase in pressure is. Okay. Here the motor car, tire of motor car contains air at 15 degrees centigrade. Temperature is increased to 35 degrees centigrade. So they are asking the percentage change in pressure, because the volume of that particular tire is constant. So volume constant means P is proportional to T. That means increase in temperature increases pressure. That means we can write dP by P is equal to percentage change is equal to dt by delta T into 100. Okay. Now in this problem it is given that temperature changes from 15 degrees centigrade to 35 degrees centigrade. Okay. That means initially it is 273 plus 15 to 273 plus 35, that is, this is 8, 0, 308, here it is 8, 8, 2. Okay. So change in temperature to initial temperature, that means delta P by P into 100 is this one only. What is change in temperature is 8 divided by initial 288 into 100, that is 1 by 3, 6, 36, 36 into 100. So this is approximately 6.8 or 6.9. So in the given problem it is 7. Now 18th one. The given mass of a gas compressed isothermally until its pressure is doubled. It is then allowed to expand adiabatically until its original volume is restored, and its pressure is then found to be 0.75 of initial pressure. the ratio of specific heats of the gas is approximately, okay, the given mass of gas is compressed isothermally until its pressure is doubled. It is then allowed to expand adiabatically until its original volume is restored and pressure is found to be 0.75 of initial one. So here two steps takes place. So initially we consider 18th one, pressure and volume temperature B, P1 V1. Okay, second step, that means from P1 V1 state to they change to P2 V2 state, and here it is isothermal. From this state to adiabatical changes to P3 V3. These are given. This is the main steps. Okay. First, in isothermal process, from P1 V1 to P2 V2, that means temperature remains constant. So that P1 V1 to P2 V2, the pressure increases to, pressure is doubled. That means here isothermal process means it obey Boyle's law, P1 V1 equal to P2 V2. Okay. So here we have to write P1 V1 is equal to P1 V1 power gamma equal to P2 V2 2 power gamma. This obeys adiabatic law. So for this one, P1 V1 equal to P2 V2 and P1 V1 is equal to 2 P1 V2. Okay, that is P2 is equal to 2 P1 and V2 is equal to what happens? V1 by 2. So from this condition we can establish. Now from here, it is from adiabatic process from, that means P1 V1, so initial one is P2 V2. So P2 V2 to the power gamma is equal to P3 V3 power gamma. But it is given that in after the adiabatic process, pressure is 0.75 times that of P1 and V3 is that of initial one only. So we can write this as given P3 as 3 by 4 of P1 and V3 as V1 gamma. So here P2 V2. So substituting P2 V2 is these also. So 2 P1 and V1 by 2 whole power gamma. So this P1 will get cancelled. V1 also gets cancelled. So here these two. So 1 by 2 to the power gamma is equal to 3 by 8. So by solving this we get gamma is 1.41. Now 19th one, 1 mole of oxygen is heated at constant pressure starting at 0 degrees centigrade. The heat energy that must be supplied to a gas to double its volume, where R is molar gas constant. Okay. 1 mole of oxygen is heated at constant pressure starting from 0 degrees centigrade. The heat energy that must be supplied to double its volume. Okay. Here in this problem, pressure is constant at constant pressure starting from 0. So pressure is constant means V by T is equal to V2 by T2. Okay. Starting from 0 degree centigrade, that means V1 by 273 D is equal to V2 by T2. So that what happens? Okay, so double the volume to V1. So V1 get cancelled. So T2 is equal to 546 K. Okay. Also we can write dt, change in temperature dt is equal to 273, T2 minus T1, that is 273. Now the amount of heat that is required to double its volume. Okay. Now given 1 mole of oxygen, N is equal to 1 and oxygen is a diatomic, so O2, that is diatomic means gamma or Cp is equal to 7 by 2 R. Okay. Now dq, amount of heat required is N Cp dt. So N is 1 mole, Cp is 7 by 2R into 273. dt is 273. This is 3.5 into 273 into R. This is given in the options. Now 20th one. The equation of certain gas can be written as T power 7 by 5 by P power 2 to the power 5 is constant. T power 7 5, P power 2 by 5 is constant. If its specific heat at constant volume will be, okay, its specific heat at constant volume will be, okay. Now this is given like this. So actually 2 by 5, 3 by 5 means it is in terms of gamma. So we have in adiabatic process, PV power gamma is constant. Okay. So adiabatic process PV power gamma is constant. But for an ideal gas, PV is equal to RT, or PV by T is constant. Okay, now writing volume in terms of pressure and T. So V is equal to T by P. Now substituting this in this equation, T by P whole power gamma is constant. So this is P power 1 minus gamma V power gamma is constant. Now if you consider, T power gamma. Now comparing these two, first you can verify with this gamma is equal to 7 by 5. If gamma is equal to 7 by 5, then 1 minus gamma is 1 minus 7 by 5. That is sorry. 5 P power gamma minus 1, that equal to 7 by 5 minus 1, that is 2 by 5. So T power 7 by 5 by P power 2 by 5. That means gamma is 7 by 5. Therefore, we got gamma is equal to 7 by 5. Now, this is 7 by 5 means Cp by Cv is 7 by 5. Okay. Now we have to calculate Cv. Okay. Cp by Cv is 7 by 5. But we know Cp minus Cv is R. So now writing Cp in terms of Cv, that is Cp is equal to 7 by 5 Cv in this. So 7 by 5 Cv minus Cv is equal to R. Writing this Cv common, 7 by 5 minus 1 is equal to R. So Cv is equal to R divided by this one, this is 2 by 5, that is 5R by 2. Okay, now (21) in a mechanical refrigerator, the low temperature coils are at temperature minus 23 degrees centigrade, and compressed gas in the condenser has a temperature of 27 degrees centigrade. So the theoretical coefficient of performance. So a simple one, given T1 as 27 degrees centigrade and T2 as minus 23 degrees centigrade. That means this is 273 plus 27, that is 300 K, and this is 273 minus 23, that is 250 K. So the coefficient of performance of the refrigerator beta is T2 by T1 minus T2, that is 250 by 300 minus 250, that is 250 by 50, that is 5. Okay, next 22. A Carnot engine whose sink is at temperature of 300 K has an efficiency of 40%. By how much should be the temperature of the source is to be increased so as to increase the efficiency to 60%. Okay. So a Carnot engine whose sink is at a temperature of 300 K. So actually we take T1 as source temperature and T2 as sink temperature. So that is given 300 K. Now the efficiency is 40%. Okay. So to increase this efficiency from 40 to 50%, what is the change in temperature of T1? So first calculate T1 for this 40% and T2 for T1 for 50%. Then change in that one is T1. That is our answer. So first consider 40%. Efficiency eta is equal to T1 minus T2 by T1 into 100. Okay, this is given 40, first one. T1 we have to calculate, T2 given 300 by T1 into 100. That is 4 T1 is equal to 10 T1 minus 3000. So that is 6 T1 is equal to 3000. So T1 is equal to 500 K. Okay. So initially the source is at 500 K. When the efficiency is 40. To get this efficiency to 50%, what is the change that T1 should be made? So for calculate for T1 for 50%. So same formula using 50 is equal to T1 minus 300 by T1 into 100. So in this case 5. So 50% or 60%? Sorry, 60%. So 6 T1 is equal to 10 T1 minus 3000. So this is 4 T1 is equal to 3000. T1 is equal to 750. Okay. So change that we have to give it is T1 to T1 dash. So change delta T that we have to make is T1 to T1, that is 250 K. That means if we increase further by 250 K, we will get an efficiency 60%. A refrigerator placed in a room at 300 K has an inside temperature 200 K. How many calories of heat shall be delivered to the room for each 2 kilocalorie of energy is consumed by the refrigerator ideally? Okay. So, refrigerator is placed in a room at 300 K and inside temperature is 200 K. That means its T2 is 200 K and T1 is 300 K. It is given, and the amount of work done W is given as 2 kilocalorie, 2 K calorie. Okay. Now the performance of this refrigerator is T2 by T1 minus T2, that is 200 by 300 minus 200, that is 100, so that is 2. So actually beta is equal to Q by W. Okay, amount of heat by work done. So this can be written as implies Q is equal to 2 into this amount 2, that is 4. Now what we have to calculate is now amount of heat delivered to the room, that means delivered to the room is Q1 minus Q2 is equal to W. Actually W is Q1 minus Q2. Actual amount of work done is the change in the temperature. So we have to calculate this Q1. So Q1 is equal to W plus Q2. That is W is, we have calculated 2 and the amount of heat is 4, that is 6 kilocalorie. An ideal Carnot engine whose efficiency is 40% receives heat at 500 K. If the efficiency is to be 50%, then the temperature of the sink will be. Oh, okay. So an ideal Carnot engine, 24th one. Ideal Carnot engine whose efficiency is 40% receives 500. That means it receives heat at 500 K means its source temperature is 500 K. So given T1 is equal to 500 K, then calculate its sink temperature when its efficiency is 50%. So we have this formula, efficiency is equal to 1 by T2 by T1 into 100. Given this is 50% is equal to, or we can write T1 minus T2 by T1 into 100, that is 500. Given T1 is 500, so 500 minus T2 by 500 into 100. So you can cancel out this. So this 5 into 50, 250 is equal to 500 minus T2 implies T2 is equal to 250. Next one, 25th. Two Carnot engines A and B are operated in succession. The first one A receives heat from a source T1 at 800 K and rejects it to a sink T2. The second engine B receives heat rejected by the first engine and rejects to another sink at T2 300 K. If the efficiencies of these two engines are equal, then the value of T2 is. Okay. So there are two engines A and B working between two different temperatures. Suppose A is working between T1 and T2 and B is working between T2 and T3, like this. So this is the first engine, this is the second engine. That means first engine A works in between T1 and T2 and second engine B works between T2 and T3. Now for this, that means this is source, this is sink for A. For B, this is source and this is sink. Now given that the efficiencies of both are equal, that means writing efficiency for this one, eta is equal to 1 minus T2 by T1 into 100, okay, that equal to, in this case, 1 minus sink temperature T3 by source temperature T2 into 100. So get 100 cancel, 1 cancel, that is T2 by T1 is equal to T3 by T2. So T2 square is equal to T1 T3. So this is given, this first one is get, this is at 800k and this is at 300k. Now substituting both in this equation, 800 into 300. So that is T2 square is equal to 24 into 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that T2 is equal to root 24 into 100. So approximately root 24, calculating that we will get 489.4.